Okay, so I'm back. I've let him out to the toilet. I've opened the back door for him. So anyway, I just wanted to say, so John has kind of disappeared from me now, which feels a bit strange. I don't know if it's a new phase. So just that's, he was always around me, and I was always very into the angels and very into being protected and things like that. And then the other thing I wanted to say was as well that I forgot to mention yesterday was, or maybe I mentioned it, I think before, that was when I was around 6 weeks old, I got, maybe I did mention this, but I got pneumonia. And that was me away from my family for several weeks in the hospital on intravenous medications and antibiotics. I was on a lot of stuff actually, and I was pretty serious. So I just wanted to say that, because that's just another part of I wasn't with my mum straight after hospital because my brother Paul was in hospital in intensive care. And then I was only 6 weeks and I was off in hospital again on my own. In those days, your parents, in my case, my mum did not stay over and stuff like that. And that was just the way it was. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of people out there probably had a lot worse. I'm just stating a fact. So school was amazing for me. I just loved it. It was a place to go. And so I loved all the teachers, and I talked about sixth class, and that was preparing for the confirmation. And we had to choose a saint's name. Now, most people choose a saint name, their favorite name, and a girl picks a girl name, a boy picks a boy name. And I know my sister picked my name for her confirmation name because she liked me. I don't know what happened, but she loved me at that stage. But anyway, so I sat beside Donna, who I hope sees this at some stage. But Donna was sitting beside me, the one that we fell around laughing in fourth class. So actually, I don't know who I sat beside actually in fifth class. Maybe her as well. And then in sixth class anyway. And we actually, me and Donna used to bring, in sixth class, used to bring in dolls. Dolls, actual like dolls, size of baby dolls, not Barbies, but baby dolls for lunch break. So I had, I don't know if anyone remembers, they were called baby dolls. And I absolutely loved mine. And I called mine Sandra. And I called it Sandra after my friend Amanda, who was in my class. Her sister was called Sandra. I think her eldest sister was called Sandra. And I loved the name because it was Amanda's sister's name. I remember. So my baby doll was called Sandra after Amanda's sister. All these little things that I'm sure people don't know. But anyway, and I was obsessed with dolls and obsessed with babies and all of that. And but we had to pick a saint's name. And me and Donna, we got all these little books and we had to read all about the saints. So we said we weren't going to tell each other until the teacher asked us, because I think what happened was the teacher would sit there and she went through the whole classroom and she had to ask our name. And I think the bishop then would, you tell him your name and something, but they needed that information. So we said we're not going to tell each other until that day that the teacher would ask us, and that was fine. And so I remember we wrote it down. So she wrote it down and I wrote it down, and it came up that we both picked St. Jude, who's a male saint, and we both picked the exact. Isn't that amazing? Like the two of us, and we really went through this together. Like we never told each other. Like I was actually going to pick Paul or Jude, and then went for Jude. So yeah, so my name is Niamh Patricia Jude Elliott. So yeah, so that's where my email comes from, NPJ Elliott. So that's it. So yeah, but that was that. And so we went through that and we went through a confirmation. But I just wanted to, have a little shout out to, all the girls that were in my class. There was a lot of them. We had great fun. There was just you know, and then there was bits that went on. There was a little bit of bullying, and then there was kind of, you know, there was a girl, me and this girl had this kind of love-hate relationship, and I believe, to be honest, that we had some soul thing going on. I do believe that when people are in your life, no matter who they are, where they are, we're part of a soul family. And especially, I think, you know, when I'm in work with people or whatever, but especially if you're in school, especially if you're in school with people on a daily basis, every day, they're your family, whether you like it or not. But I did like it, and but we were part of we were definitely part of a soul family, and there was this beautiful girl, and I won't say her name because she passed away recently, and we had this. I genuinely feel it was a love-hate relationship. I adored her. I adored her. I don't know if she adored me, but I do know she trusted me because she did confide in me a lot about stuff. And then she'd fight with me like a few minutes later when somebody else would come along. But she did trust me and she did confide in me. I think she knew she could. And I loved her. And then we went through kind of these phases. We went, it's kind of strange because we were the two girls that had the birthday parties, and of course she was famous for her birthday parties, but I think mine were pretty cool too, you know. So I had nice birthday parties, and it was a big thing when her birthday was coming up, who she was going to invite, and mine as well. And I had really the same people from age 5 coming to my birthdays every year. And you know, I loved them, and I went to her birthday parties. I remember she had a Siamese cat, and I just remember her parties, and they were fabulous. And she came to mine, and I think at home in my attic I still have a Cinderella soap set that she gave me that I kept, and I still have it. It's in the attic. It's probably disintegrated into nothing, but you know, she's one of these kids that had kind of, she seemed to have everything. She had all the toys, and everything was pretty cool and in her house. And she was from a lovely family, and she was very, very beautiful, and I just wanted her to love me. And I don't know why she couldn't. And then it just reminds me very much of my brother, who's next in age to me. And I adored him. And all I ever wanted was for him and me to be best friends. I adored him. And he just didn't adore me back. He, you know, he used to kind of push me, and then I go, Mum, and then Mum would say, what did you do to him? And I'd say, I didn't do anything. And, you know, all the kind of usual kid stuff. But I just don't know why he couldn't take to me. And we had a love-hate relationship going on for years, and I always loved him and always stood up for him, because I always felt there was something in him that was very vulnerable, and I knew he was a good person because he was really good to my mum. He was so good to my mum, but he wasn't, and he was good to me at phases in my life. I was bullied, and I'd be stuck down in the bowling alley in my village, and we'd have to ring the receptionist in the bowling alley, or the security guard or the manager would ring my mum, and my mum would have to send my brother down to come and actually pull me out of there and walk me home. I just adored him. And I adored this particular girl as well. And I don't know why, but it was that same thing that they had. And I don't need explanations today. You know, I do have my own. I've done a lot of thinking about it over the years, and a lot of hurting and a lot of pain. And, you know, it doesn't matter. But I do believe that we were all sent to be together for certain reasons. So I made my communion, and then I made my confirmation, should I say, which was another fabulous day. I made £88 for my confirmation, and I think other people made a lot more than me. So if you did, you can put it in the comments or whatever, but I made 88, and that was not a lot for, again, those days. I made my confirmation in 1985, March 1985, and then my dad died in the November 1985, and he came to the school and he took photos. He took loads of photos, and I know there's a few. I'm thinking of one particular person. I keep saying to her, "Oh, I'm going to post photos on Facebook, and I'm going to, of us when we were kids." But now they're all in Ireland, and I can't get back there for the moment. But yeah, my dad came and took photos of a lot of us. So in those photos, we had Linda, Rachel, Anya, Maeve, Janice, Barbara, Elaine, another Janice. Trying to think of all the names, and I hope I'm not leaving. Amanda, probably Emma was there, Anne-Marie, Debbie. There were lots of us, and Celine, Fiona. There were just so many of us. I can see you all in the photos. I'm trying to just pick, but it was just amazing. It was lovely. It was really nice, and it was very special. And all the nuns and all the teachers, and it was just an amazing time. I remember my mum, she brought me to Arnott's, and she got me the most beautiful skirt I had ever seen in my entire life. I didn't really like the blouse. It was kind of a whitish kind of blouse, but she got me these beautiful patent kind of blue, very pale blue grey shoes. They were kind of a little bit high, and this gorgeous floral skirt. I would wear it today. It was absolutely stunning, and I was so happy, so happy. And then Mum had this kind of revelation that no, that's not confirmation-y enough, and she brought me, oh my God, she brought me back into Arnott's and got me this grey, blue, white kind of tartan woolen material, and got my Auntie Betty's sister in Tala to make it into a suit. And then I got a beret, an actual beret I think I had on. Was it a beret? And I wasn't crazy about it. I really wasn't. I wasn't excited about it. I really wanted it. And she said, no, you can keep the other stuff, but whatever. And then I remember that was the suit I wore I had to wear, my mum made me wear that for my dad's funeral, my confirmation suit. And just, on that, my whole class came to my dad's funeral. They walked all the way from school, past my house, all the way to the village, and sang at my dad's funeral. And I think it was about 10 days before my dad died, a girl in my class, her mum died. And that was very sad. And I knew when we were singing at her mum's funeral, we would have been singing at my dad's pretty soon. But I want to talk actually about my dad's funeral and his death. But I will keep that for my next video, because I have to try and figure out how to put this one with the other one, or do I put them separate? This is all new to me, and that's over little Teddy barking at the cat and wanting to go out, and then I opened the door and he wouldn't go out. But so yeah, I have so many memories of school, in the sense, I just want to say, in my primary school, it was just amazing. There's one thing I'll just say, that hail, rain or snow, we had to go out. We had to go outside and play. And if it was raining, you went into these big sheds, these cement sheds with no doors. And at each end, at the end, there was a barrel, and the barrel was alight and smoking, like an actual steel barrel, and the smoke coming out of it. And we would sit, when I think of it, we couldn't breathe. And then there was a slide, and then we got to do a mural. We got to do a mural on one of the sheds. That was really cool. That was really, really cool. I remember doing that. That was amazing. And there were lovely teachers, you know. There was Mrs. O'Keefe. I always remember her. She was just, I always thought she was beautiful. She wore loads of makeup, and, you know, I'm trying to think. We just, like, there were loads of other lovely teachers there as well. And, but I will mention them in the next thing, because I'll have my dad's death, and then also secondary school, which was pretty good. And then we'll get into the teen years, which, yikes. So thanks anyway, everybody, and have a lovely evening. Talk to you soon. Bye.